Hello. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm trying to get this thing set up to where I can see the chat because for some reason on my end, I can't see the chat unless I pop it out. Oh, Donna, you made it. How are things? I don't remember what day you said he was. I better not talk about. Well, I don't know if I can or not. Oh, boy. Maybe you understand what I'm talking about and you can tell me. Just remember the email that you sent me. Sometimes I don't know what I can talk about and what I can't when people come, to the live because I do get some personal emails and I've got to remember that. Today he has 3 off to the lab. Very small, no cancer suspected. Oh, that's good. They said that about my son. Okay, we're going to pray that it's right, that he no cancer. We're going to pray that they are right this time because I know that it can be wrong whenever they do the test, but we're going to pray that there's no cancer. And everything's going to be good. Hey, Kathy. Today is going to be a little bit different than the way I've done Bible studies before because I haven't taken notes. I haven't done any of those things. Oh, that's good that they got all of it. I've got things, but I kind of wanted to do it a little bit different today, which I know we talked about Titus, and there's so much in there from last week. Well, last week and then the week, not the week before that, but the one before. There's so much we unpacked in Titus, and I still don't think we unpacked everything that's in there. There's so much in that little book. But today, I'm going to try not to say 1,000 times, but I probably will. Because it is my favorite word, I guess. I guess I need to embrace the things I don't like that I do. That way maybe I'll stop doing them. You think? I don't know. I embraced my curls, and now my hair is straighter than it was. Unless I do stuff. But it's still. Now I like curls, and I like it anyway. My hair is fine. Why am I talking about hair? But today I'm doing a little bit different because I decided to look up the word forgiveness in my Nave's Topical Bible, and I do have one link below. I could only find the compact one on Amazon, but you can, like I said before, if you ever want anything that I have linked, use that as a reference point so you can see what it looks like, but shop around, find the cheapest price. If you buy it on Amazon through my link, yes, that helps me, but I don't expect it. I don't expect you guys to do that. My wire was in front of the camera. I don't expect you to purchase from my link just because I put it there. My links are there for you to reference and say, oh, well, that's what she's talking about. Let me go look on thrift books. Let me go look on eBay. Let me look at my local thrift store. Let me look at my local whatever bookstore. Let me do that kind of thing because I don't expect you to buy from the link. If you do, I am very grateful. I thank you for it. But don't ever feel like you have to just because I put it there. I'm only putting it there to kind of help you. And also today, I have not put the scriptures in the description box yet because I don't know how many we're going to get through. Because I don't know how many I'm going to do. I don't know how much I'm going to talk about each scripture because there's so many. Like what this Nave's Topical Bible is, it's kind of the way a concordance is, But like you can look up the word forgiveness and it'll have it in there, like a bunch of different scriptures. You can look up the word, I don't know, let's see, peace, and it'll have a lot of scriptures. And you can look up righteousness. This is just ones I'm flipping to. Those are awesome ones, aren't they? Forgiveness, peace, righteousness. We all need that. So yeah. And then like thankful. Oh goodness. Thankfulness. You can find a lot of scriptures. Word of God. And it's in alphabetical order. Worship, writing, Jesus the Christ, hypocrisy. We don't need that. Homicide. We don't need. Now we're getting to the bad stuff. We're not going to look at that anymore. We're going to stop. But anyway, it is an alphabetical, just topical study guide or study help. It's not a guide. It just shows you where these things are to make it easier. And I decided I was just going to, oh, you got a free deal? See? Do that. Yeah, I didn't think about phones and stuff. I don't have Apple products, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's in the Google Play. So, because I think you do Apple, don't you, Donna? I don't know. You said it's in the Google Play Store, so it's probably, okay. Anyway, if you can find it free, that's even better. That makes me happier. But, anyway, I wanted to use this because I was finding things, and I was thinking, you know, I'll just look it up in my Bible with my concordance, and I'll write down the scriptures and all this stuff. And then I remembered I have my naves, and it makes life simpler. And this is something that I just felt forgiveness is different for everyone. It's not the same for me as it will be for you, but we can always learn from each other on things that say that I've forgiven people in the past because of things they've done to me. I have had to forgive myself for things I have done to me. I feel like my camera is further away. I don't really care if it is or not. I mean, I do, because I don't want you guys to not, it doesn't matter. Y'all can hear me. That's all that matters, right? You can hear me. Okay, so let's get into the scriptures. Now, this one that I have, this naves, they have different ones. They have some that are, what do you call it? That are like NIV. They have, let's see, this one, I don't know which one this one is. I think it's King James. It doesn't say. But I know it sounds like King James whenever I read it. So I wanted to just go through some scriptures and unpack them a little bit today, because forgiveness is the start of healing in any situation. Just like if we look back to when we first gave our lives to the Lord, when He forgave us, that is when we started healing. Not when we decided to live for the Lord, not when we decided to get saved, give our heart to the Lord. You know, people say it a lot of different ways. And honestly, whatever way you say it is fine. As long as you are living for Christ, as long as you are doing what God says, that's what what matters. But you can decide that, and you can say, okay, I'm going to do it. And then you can put it off. You can say, oh, well, I'll do it, but then still let stuff stop you. So you haven't started your journey. You haven't started your healing. So whenever you decide, okay, God, I'm ready. I'm giving my life to you. I'm living for you. Whenever you really decide, because see, the thing with me is there were times in my life where I thought that I had actually given myself to the Lord fully, and I hadn't. Because if I had fully asked for His forgiveness and fully accepted His forgiveness and accepted His love for me, I don't think I would have walked backwards. Yes, we fall, we stumble, we make mistakes, but I don't think I would have went so far back. 3 frogs on a log. One decides to jump off and go for a swim. How many frogs are on the log? 3. The decision was not acted upon. Yeah. yeah, I mean, it's just like that. It's if you don't act on it. So the minute that I really stopped playing with God, the minute that I stopped playing church or whatever you want to call it, when I really did say, God, I need you, I found inside of me how much that I needed his forgiveness. And see, today I feel a lot like I feel a lot in me today because his forgiveness for me, when I finally really truly saw what it was, I finally accepted his forgiveness. That's when my journey to healing started. Am I completely healed? No, but I'm still going towards that. I still have things that I have to work through that, that God is taking me through, that mindsets that he is helping me through. And I don't know where I'm going with this today because I tried. In fact, Donna and I talked about forgiveness. We first started talking about it, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and I've been trying to figure it out. And I couldn't land like I normally do on a subject. I couldn't land on how I wanted to do it. So then whenever God brought to my mind, you have the names, use it. Just let me guide you through that, through this study, without notes, without anything. And yes, I have a little notepad here, and I wrote the word forgiveness on it, so I can write down the scriptures I read. It doesn't look like I'm getting to scriptures today. I have my Bible here. I have the names. But my thing with this is my journey started when I quit playing. When I finally decided I'm all in, and I'm going to accept that forgiveness. So for me, that was the beginning of healing. But I also want to talk about another type of forgiveness. It's whenever you forgive others, but they may not accept it, they may not know it, but it's also for your healing. So the first scripture that I came to there were scriptures before it, but the first one that hit me whenever I was reading this, and I'm going to read it out of the Holman Standard Christian Bible because it's a little easier to understand. I can understand it out of the King James or whatever, but it just says it a little in our language. So it is Proverbs 19:11, and I didn't write that down, and I don't know why. This is my notes for me to go back and put it in my description box when I'm done. But Proverbs 19:11 says, a person's insight gives him patience, and his virtue is to overlook an offense. Whenever we overlook an offense, that's when we forgive. Let's just say Jeff and I were in a fight or argument. We don't fight anymore. We sometimes have little arguments. If you don't have some sort of disagreements in your marriage, somebody's not trying. We're all different people, and I'm not saying you got to fight. I'm not saying you got to disagree all the time. I'm saying we're humans. We're two different people, and we will disagree on things. But the thing is, whenever we disagree on things, and this is what I have, the way I'm holding my fingers is the way I've described to my children. We can disagree on things, and we can be butting heads. But if we sit there and we butt heads the whole time, and we don't try to forgive each other, we don't try to work through it, we don't try to talk about it, we're going to just still butt heads, and we're going to get nowhere. But the minute whenever we come together, we can hold each other, and we can talk to each other, and we can work through the problem, we're okay. Because, if I was holding something in my hand, it'd be safe. Because we worked through it. So that's the way I've talked to my children. I'm like, we can't just keep butting heads. We got to come together. And sometimes we're going to butt heads with somebody, and they're not going to come together with us. And we do have to walk away so that we can hold on to ourselves. They're still over here butting heads and not caring about anything, but they're right. But we're over here healing because we've let God have it. We've said, God, I forgive them. I'm not going to hold it against them. I'm going to let it go. So I'm going to hold, you're going to hold me. So God's got them. God's holding them. So my thing with forgiveness is our step, our place is to overlook that offense. So that is why that scripture really talked to me, because our virtue is overlooking the offense. It's not making sure we were right. It's not doing anything to, it's not getting their approval and them saying, oh, well, you're right. It's not them agreeing with us. It is going ahead and letting them be wrong, knowing we're right, and letting it go and forgiving their wrongdoing. Because there's been a lot of wrong done to all of us, not just me. I mean, I could sit here and name things off that people have done to me that they shouldn't have done. I mean, I could sit here and say, well, that bully picked on me because I had eczema on my hands when I was a child, and had me to where that I didn't even want a boy to hold my hand when I was old enough because I thought they were disgusting. I mean, I could come at like way back then. I could be, people picked on me because we were poor and I didn't have the best clothes, and people talked about me because of that. People talked about me because my mama only let us wear dresses. I could come at all these things from way back then, but if I let all those little things from way back then keep me down, I haven't forgiven. Now, I don't even remember those people's names. They don't even know who I am, most likely. In fact, I saw one and he didn't even recognize me, and I didn't say anything to him, but it's like those people I had to forgive. So that was the first step to virtue. That was the first step, is me forgiving. And there's been times like yesterday is a perfect example. Yesterday, Noah got up. Okay, now my son is one of the most loving, gentle giants. I call him a gentle giant all the time because y'all have seen Noah. He's 6'4", he's wide, he's muscle. I mean, he is muscle. I had not seen his legs in a while, and he had something going on with one of them. He wanted me to look at it. So he pulled his shorts up, and I saw his muscle in his thigh. And I'm like, boy, you don't have a leg. You got a tree. What's going on with that? He's muscle. He has these looks. Whenever he's just sitting there, just being him and not thinking about anything, he's just sitting there, and he looks mad. He looks mean. And he's not. He's the sweetest person you could ever meet. He has the most loving heart. But whenever he first wakes up, you don't want to talk to him. You just don't want to talk to him. Yesterday morning, I got up, and he was up because him and his daddy were going to work on the truck to fix some stuff. And I asked him, I said, has somebody fed Daisy? And he's like, well, I don't know. And he's just like, that kind of thing. And I was like, whoa, no. Well, me and him, yesterday morning, we got into little words, which were not fun. And before he went to work, we got it all settled, and it was all okay. And we're cool now, But I had to sit there, and I had to remember, he's not in a good mood whenever he first gets up. And you know this, Kathy. You've got to, he has to not have the brain fog. And I don't know why he does it. I don't know. He's been like that since puberty. And he's not trying to, because as soon as he notices what he did, the anger that he might have had, that it probably wasn't even anger, it'll turn around and he'll put it back on himself, and he'll be mad at himself. And he will feel like, he has talked to me before that he has so much guilt because he snapped at me for something that didn't even matter. So we have learned to work through those things. And I know I've got to forgive him before he ever does it, which doesn't make sense to some people, but I have to know that he's that way. And I'm going to warn his future wife. Don't talk to him for at least an hour. Don't talk to him. Not at all. Not really. It's not like that. But it's like we have to think about these things in advance. And I don't even know where I'm even at right now. Let's see. Donna says, it gets me is when they just drop you and proceed to treat you like poo and won't tell you what you did. Oh, yes. People that won't tell you what you did, those are the ones that don't want reconciliation. They're the ones that don't want to, they don't want to fix the relationship. So what you have to do is, on your side, you have to walk away, forgive, and just sometimes you have to cut those people off. And I'm not saying don't ever speak to them again. I'm not saying don't love them. I'm saying don't keep letting them hurt you by being the way they are, because what they're doing whenever they don't tell you what you did to them, they're hurting themselves and they're hurting you, and they're not restoring any relationship. We have to realize everyone has boundaries, and we need to respect them and not push the way I would do it on them because they aren't me. I'm me, which means I can walk away or say sorry or just listen. Yeah, I wouldn't let them get involved with me again either if they were doing those things. It's just, there's so many things that forgiveness brings, and sometimes people don't want it. Some people don't want healing. They don't want to fix it. They want to stay mad. They want to stay miserable. They want to stay in that pit of nastiness, the hard stuff. They don't care. They're like happy in their misery. So with me, I know that I have forgiven people for things they've done. Sometimes it'll pop back up in my head, and I have to remind myself, you've already forgiven them for this. You need to just go ahead and, let it go. Now, I have one sister who, she and I have so many times had, we've always had a good relationship. But I shouldn't say so many, because it really hasn't been that many. But there's a few times in our relationship, she's 5 years older than me, and if she watches this, she'll know exactly who she is. But we have kind of butted heads on things at times, and then we'll both be hurt, and it'll be, the situation where maybe one of us never tells the other, I'm sorry. Maybe we don't, ever fix it in words. So, I'm trying to explain this in a way that it makes sense. And you girls know, well, I guess it's all girls. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. You have to verbally fix it sometimes. Well, we don't even do that. We agree to disagree, and we will love each other through it. And we have a good relationship because of it. Because there's some times where we know we're not going to work together, but then we will most likely pray for each other, and God will show which one of us is wrong, and we'll come back and say, that thing that we, I'm sorry. God will fix it for us because we've already decided to forgive each other. And yeah, one of us will come back eventually, even if it's years later. It has happened. Years later, we've come back to each other and say, I was wrong about that situation. And the other one won't even remember it. And we laugh about it. So that is what forgiveness is. It's the beginning of healing. So I want to go to more scriptures. We could stick on one, and it's a great one. It is virtuous to forgive. We have to forgive each other. We have to forgive, not for the other person, but for ourselves. Because if we don't forgive for ourselves, we're going to live in that misery that they're living in. They like it there. It's like sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, well, they like it in that misery. They like living in that earthly hell because that's where they're at. They like to remember all that stuff that really doesn't make any difference in their life, that really shouldn't have ever changed anything in their lives. They like it. So we're going to let them live there, and we're going to forgive whatever happened, and we're going to be okay, because that is where God is taking us, to the place of okay, where we're healing. So let me see. I'm going to go to another scripture. This is one, Proverbs 25, 21 and 22. Let me make sure I got that right. Proverbs 25. Okay. It says, make sure I've got it right. Okay. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will be heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Now, you know, okay, well, I know. I don't know if you know or not, but you probably do. But honestly, we all go through a lot of things that are very similar. It may not be the exact same thing, but we can all relate. I have learned that. It took me a long time, at least 43 years to learn that. It was probably about last year that I figured that out. Because I'm 44 now and I just figured it out. That we're all similar. I don't care what background you come from. I don't care if you're rich, poor. I don't care if you are, from the country or from the city. I don't care where you're from another country. If you're from the United States, we all go through similar things and we all have the same thoughts. Just sometimes we don't actually voice them. So anyway, with verses 21 and 22, if your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. Well, you know that person that did you wrong. That person, if they come to you and they say, well, I don't have money for rent, or I don't have this, or I need some groceries for my babies, and you give them what you can, that's heaping coals. It says it in verse 22. You're heaping burning coals on their head, and the Lord will reward you. All right, so if you think about it, I know probably all of us ladies have got burned while cooking. I have scars to prove it. I have actually been outside at a bonfire or something. And Francis, you know how fires work. I saw you set one in a grill not long ago. But anyway, if you're not careful, you may end up getting burned. And we know how that coal, that burn, that little quick burn, how it feels. But just think about it. You're heaping burning coals on their head. Every time you're good to them. Every time you're good to them, when they're hateful to you, I don't say be overly nice just because you want to be mean. But I'm saying, do them the way you want to be done. Treat them the way that you want to be treated. Love them the way you want to be loved. And they will start saying, oh man, I messed up. Oh, this is not right. I shouldn't be holding this grudge, because like I said, forgiveness is the first step to healing. No matter what, maybe I should have named this whole thing. Forgiveness is the first step to healing, because that's what it is. I'm going to do another scripture, find another one. See, that's about the same. A lot of them are similar. So many of them are similar. And, all of them you go through are just, they say the same thing, like not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessings, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing. That's 1 Peter 3:9. There are just so many of them. They say the similar things. They say the same thing. And forgiveness, what people call the golden rule. Forgiveness is not for them. It's not. And actually, when I learned that forgiveness was not for that other person, when I learned that I didn't have to agree with the person to forgive them, that set me free. When I learned that we didn't have to agree on things, that set me free, because I know there are still things. Now, Jeff and I, in just a few days, in a little over, 26th of next month, July, like 29 days, is it? I don't know. No. Yeah, something like that. No, it's 27, 28 days. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, in a few days, we will be married 25 years. There are things that I still don't agree with him about, and things he still doesn't agree with me about. They are little things that don't matter in our lives, don't matter in our marriage, don't matter in how we raised our children, that don't matter at all. They just don't really, in the big picture, they don't matter. So those little things we would hold against each other until we grew up and we learned that forgiveness was not for the other person. It was for ourselves. So there are things that Jeff has said in the past that I held on to, and now I can't remember them. And the whole reason I can't remember them is because I didn't keep playing it in my mind. I didn't keep that tape rewound. I didn't rewind and push play. Rewind and push play. I didn't do that anymore. And now I don't even remember what they were. But I know, but God helps me know there were things you held against your husband that you now don't. So don't hold things against him. So probably it's been going on 10 years ago, whenever I gave my life back to the Lord, when I decided I'm not playing anymore. When I decided, whenever God finally, I mean, it was like one night I was driving, and it's almost like I heard him say, if you do not come back to me, you will die. And that night is what changed my whole life. It is what changed how I raised my children. It is what changed, we raised our children well, but there were things that we were doing to each other that would have caused problems with our children later on. It would have hurt them, or I think it would have. But that night, whenever God spoke that to me, now I did not immediately come back to him that night. It did not happen. It was a little bit of time, because I was like, is that really God? What is going on? I was so confused, and I was crying all the time. It was crazy. But whenever I decided to give my life back to God, and I started on the path to reconciliation with God, that's whenever my marriage started reconciling. That's when I decided to do this Proverbs 31 Bible study that it was online. I don't even know if I could find it again. And whenever I found it at that time, I did it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do what it says. I'm going to treat him the way I want to be treated. I started changing the way I treated my husband. He started noticing that I started changing how I treated him. Because see, a lot of our marriage problems were me holding everything that he ever did against him. And I know where that comes from in me. I know why I do it, or I think I know why I do it. It's what I was taught. And yeah, I did watch Fireproof years later, and I was like, whoa, that's what I started doing, because of that study, which I don't know. The study might have had something to do with Fireproof, and, or it might have been that person who's created the study might have watched the movie and gotten things from it. I don't know. But whenever we started doing that, and we started talking to each other, and like talking, not screaming, not yelling, not arguing, not fighting, not fussing. When we started talking to each other, and we decided that we were more important together than we were apart, we started fixing our marriage. And now we are at the point where that we don't fuss anymore. We don't argue anymore. Yes, as I said in the beginning, we have disagreements. We have times where we're a little tiffed at each other all day. But since then, I have never gotten angry at him. And I do have to deal with anger a lot. In fact, I did a lot of Bible studies on anger. I did a lot of praying about my anger because I have been a mad, angry woman for years. I was angry when I was a child and didn't realize it. I have been a ball of anger forever, like since I can remember. And it does not take much to make me angry now, but I handle it differently. We have discussions. You can hear a mile away. Yes, seriously. I mean, literally throwing phones at the man. I threw things at the man. I missed because I'm not a good thrower. Or whatever the word is. I don't get me pitching a ball in the softball game. Don't do it, because it's probably going to hit somebody over in the bleachers. I mean, that's just how bad I am. So I broke some phones. Like, it was the house phones too. So it wasn't, I didn't have cell phones at the time, but I broke some things. I've done, I was a mad woman, and I still can get angry very easily. But God has shown me how to work through that anger and how to take that anger and break it apart. And now, because of God showing me these things, I immediately start this list. Okay, why are you angry? What is going on? Is it because you don't feel well and you just don't want to be messed with? Is it because you have a headache? Or is it because you're PMSing? Is it because this person really did you wrong? Is it because you just, didn't sleep well? What is the reason? What's the root of this anger? Where is it coming from? Are you really angry about what they said or did? Or, is it just some of it just you? A lot of times, some of it's just me. And when I truly have anger, halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Yeah. Sometimes when I truly have anger, it's normally because someone is putting someone else in danger. So see, that doesn't happen around our house anymore because my whole family gets mad about that. My whole family they hate that. So most of my anger now is when I'm in a vehicle. It's road rage, but usually I'm the passenger, it seems, because people are putting other people's lives in danger. And I will get, maybe one day I'll record myself while I'm in a vehicle and you'll be like, whoa, because I'm yelling at folks like, slow down, stop running red lights, stuff like that. But, it's righteous anger. It's okay. But I had to learn that me forgiving before the occurrence happened, which is hard to, it's still hard for me to fathom, I guess you could say. It's hard for me to make sense of it whenever the person hasn't done anything to you. But I choose to love and forgive that person no matter what they do. I choose, like Noah, yesterday morning, whenever he was grumpy, I choose to love my grumpy son anyway. Even though he was grumpy and he was in the wrong by the way he snapped, which, he apologized for. It's all good, but the thing is, even if he never did apologize, I know how he is. Just like with Jeff, there are certain things that I have to explain to him in different ways. Now, he has told me for years, and we think that it has something to do with the bike accident, which I don't know if I've ever talked about this on my YouTube channel much, but he had a bike accident when he was a child. He was, I think, 12 or 13. I'm not sure. He had fixed a friend's bicycle and was taking it home, and he has a scar that goes from here all the way over here from where his skull busted. I mean, it was terrible. He almost died. He was in the hospital on his back for 2 weeks. And we think he had traumatic brain injury. We think that sometimes he doesn't comprehend things that may be simple to me, but it's not to him. Plus, I have a more complex mind. He says I'm smarter than him, and it makes me so mad. That makes me angry. But he says I'm smarter than him, but he's wrong, because he is much more intelligent about certain things. We just both have our own deals. We both have our own things that we're smart about. and or that we know how to do, and that's why God put us together so we could be okay, because if I didn't know how to do stuff, I wouldn't ever get it done. And the same with him. So we both know, we got our own things, and some things we both know how to do the same. But sometimes he tells me I have to explain something to him, or sometimes if I'm just in my I got to get it done, hurry up situation, I don't have time to explain it to you kind of thing, I will get a little tiffed, a little angry, a little, rude, and it'll cause a little bit of an argument, or him the same way. Because there's some things that whenever he's talking about work, he may as well be speaking French or something, Spanish, because I don't know any other language except English, and I don't even know that very well. But there's times where he will be talking about something at work, and I have to say, stop. You did what now? That's a what? That's a who? What? Can you please break that down for my brain? Because I don't know what it is. But once he says it in my language, that's what we say. Speak my language. We say that. Talk to me in my language, So that's the way we are able to discuss things and help each other understand it. And he's coming inside. Hello. Come say hey to the peoples. Don't bring a hatchet up in the house. He got a hatchet. But we had to learn how to forgive. Right, Jeffrey? Yep. You don't even know what I'm talking about today. Are you gross and dirty? Yeah. Your hands?
Forgive all and
you can't all. See you. Say hi. Hey. They can't see you.
They can't see me.
No, because you're way up there.
Well, I can't squat down.
I know. You almost done with stuff you got to do? Yeah. Okay. Donna said hi.
Hello.
I think they can still hear you. But yeah, the whole thing is forgiveness is not for somebody else. It's just for you. I mean, yeah, it helps the situation. Yeah, it can build the relationship. Yeah, it can help someone else. But forgiving is healing your heart. And that's the main thing that I really wanted to pull out of this today was forgiving is not for anybody but ourselves. I mean, yeah, that's what God tells you to do. But anything that we do that God tells us to do is for us, honestly. I mean, if you really think about it, it's to help us. Because anything God tells you to do, it's not for him. It's to help you. And I know some people may not agree with that. And I may not be saying it in the way that I should. But ultimately, anything that God says for you to do, it's for you to be having a better life. Because God forgave us because he loves us. He wants us to have a good life because of that. Now, God never said your life is going to be perfect. It's going to be great. You're going to be rich. You're going to have all these things and all the stuff and all the whatevers. He said there's going to be trials, there's going to be tribulations, but he'll help you through those. And one way is through forgiveness. And if he never forgave us, we would never have started the healing journey. So pretty much that's what I wanted to talk about is it's the start of healing our own hearts. Because if I stay angry, I'm just going to live in that mess that's going to keep hurting me. It's like a recurring pain that won't go away. And I still have things. I mean, Jeff and I have talked about it. We've had lengthy discussions about it, about things that happened in my childhood, things that happened in my past that I just feel like it's hard for me to get through. And sometimes I feel like I've gotten through it, but it comes back. Let's see. I like the Naves app as it gives examples too, specifically Joseph forgiving his brothers and other instances. Yes, it does. There's a whole lot here that I only went through 3 scriptures. I didn't even go through all the ones that are here. Because I don't have all day. I mean, we could unpack these scriptures and it would be more than just a day, you know, it would be a lot. But ultimately, God wants us to forgive to heal our hearts. And even if the other person never forgives, it just it doesn't matter if they don't forgive us. It doesn't matter. Let's see. I agree, wife stuff. Everyone does things differently. Wait a minute. Did she say something? Oh, that was from up top, I think. Yeah. So anyway, I guess I'm gonna go because Jeff's done with his stuff, and we do need to go groceries and stuff. He is off for the next couple weeks. Oh, I needed to tell y'all next Tuesday, because he and I are doing some stuff while he's off. There will be no Bible study like live. I may try to do a pre-recorded one, but I'll probably won't be able to do the what is it called? I did a premiere. I probably won't be able to do that, but I am going to try to do a pre-recorded one. But if not, if I don't get the pre-recorded one done, I will be back the next week, which is, can you go down? It will be the 13th of July. So there may not be a live Bible study or a Bible study for next week. So if you have any questions, any thoughts, you can always leave them in the comments down below, or you can always send me an email. My email is always on my about page. And I welcome any emails that you want to send. If you have a prayer request, if you have something you want to talk to me about that you don't want to talk in the public chat, that's fine. If there's something I've said that you didn't understand, which I'm pretty sure y'all did, if there's something that you know, just whatever. If y'all just want to say hi, my email's there. I'm also on Instagram. So, in the same thing as it is here, Mama Cat's Home. I don't post much on Instagram, like other than scriptures. I at one time I did like my planners, and I did my YouTube stuff, but I just haven't done that. I don't know why. I should, but I just don't. So, like I said, I did have this down below in the description. I'm going to put these scriptures in there. Also, if I can find the link to the app that Donna is talking about, I will put that in there as well, so that if you guys have an Android, you can go get it since it's in the Google Play Store. Because I really like these references, because it helps you find stuff. I'm not finding all this stuff on my own. But yeah, it is King James. It says it on here. But I'm not doing all this stuff by myself. I have a lot of Bible study tools. Right, Jeffrey? How many Bible study tools do I have? A library full. He bought them for me, so he can't complain. Which I got this one at a store called Second and Charles, and it was like, I think $5 or $6 for it used. So always go to look for stuff like that. Yeah, I'll go see if I can do it, if I can get a link for like on here. If not, I may be able to get one with my phone and put it in there. So, because I can edit the description with my phone as well as with my computer. So I'll see you guys next time. I'm glad you all came, and I really love it whenever you talk to me in the chat box. That way I know that, you know, your thoughts, and I love getting feedback and us talking and discussing things. But I will see you guys, if not next Tuesday, the next, because we have not gone anywhere alone without our kids ever. Ever. So we're gonna maybe do that for a couple days next week, and I'm gonna do a video on that too, probably. So you have to wait and see. Thank you guys again for watching, and remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.